Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? Hey, everybody. It's Scott here from Woke Societies. What's going on, Woke fam? How's everyone doing tonight? Sorry, I was a minute late on the go button for the live stream. My son decided to drop a deuce right before I hit the live button, so duty calls, literally. How's everyone doing out there tonight? Let me know where you guys are from. Let's see the chat. We already got a ton of people here already. What's up from California? Heather Laporte from Colorado. Christy, Tina. Hello from Cali. Friday Girl, Jojo, Tanya. Thanks for being here. Pops Trophies, my brother's in the house. Thanks for being here. All you guys, Jojo, thank you guys all for being there. I know you're probably out there, Eddie, the effing doctor, Sean, the hammer, the man, the legend, the hammer. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a big show today. If you guys didn't hear, Ghislaine Maxwell did not receive bail. Holy cow. Holy cow indeed. All the so-called conspiracy theorists were saying she's going to get off, she's going to be released, she's going to be out in the wild somewhere and never to return, and she's going to get away with everything. And I still hear people every single day telling me, nothing's happening. Nothing, literally nothing's happening. Just gotta laugh at it. Matrix Q, Baker, what's up, man? Thanks for hopping in here. So we're going to give everyone a couple minutes here to gather around. So let's get into some selfless plugs real quick, and then we'll get the show started, shall we? So if everyone can, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends and family. We are the news now. This is the Woke Society's YouTube channel. We are now at 89,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. We just hit that a minute ago. We are almost at 90,000, and I'm going to push as hard as I can to reach that 100,000 by the end of this month. And for all you diehard fans out there, if you want to go to my Patreon, become a patron for as little as $1 a month, or you can do $25. Whatever you want to do. I have all different kinds of levels. That gets you one extra live stream out of me every week. And as a backup, go to my BitChute in case YouTube does take me down. If you guys can, all these links are in the description below. Go down there and just go to BitChute and subscribe in case, God forbid, YouTube does take this channel down. And guys, what I really want you to check out is my wokesocieties.com webpage, which has all of my beautiful new merch. I literally added 6 products to this right before I jumped online here, and I'm gonna show you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, that's not it. Let's see, let's go backwards. That's all right, that works too. I have tanks now, ladies tanks, men's tanks, and I have different designs for these. I have the thank you, women's, men's, the hat, and also the one that's the most popular. We have the thank you as well, still going through, and of course my orange man rad tank and men's tank. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And V-neck, ladies, and Defund the Media. I have all these on. They were just added not even 10 minutes ago. They're beautiful shirts made by ESO Creative. He is also in the chat as well. So everyone say hi to ESO and my brother Pops Trophies. When you buy these products, ladies and gentlemen, you have to realize you are supporting not just this channel, but you're also supporting 2 other local businesses out in New York. So thank you for that. So yes, we have a lot to cover today. Chrissy Teigen's having a meltdown. She can't handle the heat from just pretty much almost anybody at this point, because maybe you shouldn't delete 60,000 tweets, because that's going to look a little suspect, isn't it? And she claims nothing happened on the island. She even claims she never even went to the island, but we're going to dive into that as well. We're going to dive into everything Ghislaine Maxwell, everything, there's so many things. We're going to talk about sports a little bit, and how the story with the NBA with their jerseys of Free Hong Kong was absolutely disgusting. And we're going to wrap up the show with this letter that was written by now an ex-New York Times reporter that used to work for the Times, leaves a scathing letter to his employer now. And he just lays it out there exactly what he feels that the New York Times is and where it's going. And it's going to be just a great message to anyone out there that is maybe younger and wants to do media and wants to do things like this. It's going to be very encouraging. So we're always going to end on a good note and all that good stuff. So thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Hit that like button one more time. We're already at almost 1,000 viewers already. Thank you for that, and thank you for everyone being here. And yes, ESO Creative is in the house, so thank you, Bruce, for that. I got all the new shirts up there for us. So it's going to be good to go. So if you guys didn't notice, before we even kick off the show, this is kind of like a pre-show kind of deal right going on right now. This is from ABC News, and this is what I woke up to this morning.
It's a new kind.
Thank you. Squirrel tests positive for the bubonic plague in Colorado. You cannot make this up. This is from ABC News, so this isn't surprising. Public health officials have announced that a squirrel in Colorado has tested positive for the bubonic plague. The town of Morrison, Colorado in Jefferson County, which is just west of Denver, made the announcement saying that the squirrel is the first case of the plague in the county this year. Well, damn. Now we got the bubonic plague going. Plague is an infectious disease caused by the bacteria Yersinia pestis and can be contracted by humans and household animals if proper precautions are not taken, officials from Jefferson County Public Health said in a statement released to the public. Now, there was a story that came out, I think it was a couple weeks ago, that China or somewhere out in Taiwan, somewhere, I don't know where exactly, that the bubonic plague was coming up again. And then the story died. And then here we are a couple weeks later, we have, I guess people are randomly testing squirrels now out in Colorado. What are they testing them for? Are they looking for COVID? And suddenly, out of nowhere, we have a squirrel that tests positive for the bubonic plague. So again, if COVID doesn't derail the president and everything else that he's doing right now, maybe we will see a bounce back in the bubonic plague. And this is what we're going to be seeing for our future lives. Just pandemic after a fake pandemic, we'll have to go and see. So I wanted to get that one out of the way because it's absolutely hilarious. But on a more serious note, I want you guys just to hear this. This is a 19-second clip. Now, I listened to the entire case this morning of the bail hearing for Ghislaine Maxwell. It was a 3-hour hearing. It was a long one, but it was worth it. But this 19-second clip is of the judge telling Ghislaine Maxwell she is not going to receive bail. So I'm going to play that clip, play the intro, and we're going to get this party started. So take a watch, and let's do this.
In sum, and for all the foregoing reasons, the court finds that the government has met its burden of showing by a preponderance of the evidence that the defendant is a risk of flight and that no combination of conditions could reasonably assure the presence of the defendant at court. The defendant is hereby ordered to be detained pending trial.
Let's bring the pain.
Thanks for tuning in to the land of the real. But it's like the Twilight Zone, the plan is surreal. It'll blow your mind when the plan is revealed. Bring it all to light, all the plans they conceal. Grab your flashlight, it's time to go down the rabbit hole. It's dark and hell is hot, dealing with satanic souls. The tide is turning, patriots are now in control. Apply aggressive pressure right now until they fold. Stay woke, open up guys and keep them peeled. All they do is lie, realize not everything is real. Through Project Looking Glass, the future is revealed. Future proves past, but there won't be any deals. Woke society's fam, you know it's time to go. Grab your popcorn, sit back now, enjoy the show. Severe and non on the mic, so come on, enjoy the flow. The wave is rising and you know it's only gonna grow.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right there. Now, I listened to this entire thing. I listened to the prosecutor go just completely ham on the defense lawyer. And it was, to be completely honest, I don't know anyone personally involved with this case, but even me listening to the defense lawyer defend this woman, it was hard to listen to, especially when you hear the charges that were listed out that Ghislaine has committed. And these are just crimes from, I believe, from the early 90s. These aren't even anything recent. But the whole entire thing was just insane to listen to. And the prosecutor that was grilling the defense, she sounded just like Kaylee, our press secretary. She sounded just like her. She had her points and she was savage. She went right after Ghislaine. It was so cool to hear, but we're going to get into Ghislaine just a little bit later. I want to get into some other things real quick, and we're going to dive into the meat of everything that happened with her, because it was really crazy. But the main gist of it is she did not get bail. And her case is now being pushed to July 12th of 2021. We're going to get into all that in just a moment. So let's just get into the other content and we'll dive back into that. So really quick, because this was something I saw over the weekend. I wasn't able to report on it. And I got so many messages from this. Again, everyone saw Donald Trump with the mask on. And I got so many messages saying, is this the end? Literally people telling me, is this the end of Q? Is this going to be the end of everything? Or now are we all going to have to wear a mask? Is he going to cave to all the COVID stuff? Now, just real quick, this was, by the way, guys, this was in a hospital. This was inside of a hospital. Anyone that's been to a hospital recently during this entire thing, you have to wear a mask regardless. They will not let you inside the hospital. That's just the case. President, this is not the first time that the president has worn a mask. So let's just get that out of the way. I'm sure he's worn a mask plenty of times. We just haven't seen it covered by the media. And that's just the truth. So here we are. Everything is fine. The world is not burning. Trump is wearing a mask. And wouldn't you want him to going into a hospital? Unless you're Andrew Cuomo and you're sending elderly people to nursing homes and they're tested positive for COVID. That's a whole different story on its own. But this whole entire COVID thing is starting to come to a head. They're getting desperate, and they're getting more desperate. And when I'm talking about desperation, we're looking at articles like this from Zero Hedge. WHO will not investigate the Wuhan lab where coronavirus was kept. The World Health Organization announced Monday that it will not be visiting the Wuhan Institute of Virology during its investigation into the origins of the coronavirus, despite the fact that the lab held samples of coronavirus that were almost exactly the same as that which caused a global pandemic. And if this isn't any indicator, ladies and gentlemen, that the WHO is in the pocket of the Chinese, I don't know what is at this point. It's absolutely disgusting. They are still going with the wet market story this entire time. They're still denying it. And they don't want any authorities or them themselves will not go to the Wuhan lab to do an investigation. And it's just so funny to see how desperate they are to keep this a secret. So as we keep going on here and as the days go on, we're hearing more news like this. This is also from Zero Hedge. People are going to be shocked. Bannon claims Wuhan lab employees have defected or working with the FBI. One day after a report that a respected Chinese virologist fled to Hong Kong to accuse Beijing of a COVID cover-up, former Trump strategist Steve Bannon told the Daily Mail that scientists from the Wuhan Institute of Virology and other labs have defected to the West and are turning over evidence against the Chinese Communist Party for their role in the COVID-19 pandemic, which has claimed over 560,000 lives worldwide since last December. And he's saying people are going to be shocked. So Steve Bannon knows some information, apparently. He says people are going to be shocked, told the Mail. The 66-year-old then said the defectors are cooperating with intelligence agencies in America, Europe, and the UK, which have been assembling evidence to challenge the CCP claim that the pandemic originated in a wet market and not in a lab, to scientists who have come under fire for manipulating bat coronavirus to be more transmissible to humans. So everyone's talking about this trade deal that, Trump had set up. He was calling it phase 1, phase 2. I think they went into phase 2, but as far as I know, you guys may know better than me. I didn't dive much into this. As far as the trade deal with China, I think it's completely kiboshed, or it's on its way out. But how can you possibly do any kind of trade with a country that's refusing to take responsibility for this entire debacle? It's gonna come out. And I'm shocked that there was even doctors that got out of Wuhan, got out of China in the first place, and were able to get to these intelligence agencies and spill the beans, essentially. How did that happen? So there is going to be information coming out that's going to probably be damning to the entire Chinese nation. And what's going to happen? We can't go to war. Why don't we just stop doing business with China altogether? I don't know anything about global economics or how any of that works, but for me, if I was Trump, I'm done with China. I'm done. And that's probably not easier said than done, but we'll have to see what happens. But we are seeing the effects of all this COVID garbage going on right now. I literally went out to dinner with my wife yesterday, Mrs. Woke. It's been like 3 months since I went out to dinner. We didn't actually go to a restaurant since pre-COVID. We finally had a time away from the little man. We went out to a restaurant, and literally you're walking into the restaurant. This is in New York, and you have to wear a mask while you're standing up. But as you sit down at your table, you can take your mask off. And we were in a bar area, and the bar was packed. People were standing over each other. We were sitting at tables. There's people all over the place with closer than 6 feet, and everyone had their mask off, and all the employees were walking around with masks on. And we're just sitting there laughing. We're not laughing at them because it's a business. They have to wear it, but literally, this is what we're still dealing with. And out in California, you guys will see here in Breitbart, Gavin Newsom orders 30 counties to halt indoor activities, including bars, and he's also doing this to churches and gyms. And he said, we made this point on multiple occasions and that we're moving back into a modification mode of our original stay-at-home order, Newsom said in press conference. This continues to be a deadly disease. And these Democratic governors are still pushing the case here. And it's even worse because imagine not having work. You're on unemployment, hopefully surviving. You're told you can go back to work. And then literally a couple weeks later, you're told to go back home. How demoralizing is that? For me, living in a state like this, thank God I'm financially sound right now. I would be out of that state, any kind of state that's still pushing this garbage. How can you live in a state right now? Because this isn't going away to the fall, at least. And they just dropped news I saw come across my phone not too long ago that a vaccine is coming out, or it was tested, or it was a booster shot, something along those lines. So we'll have to see. I don't know. But the crazy part about all this is all the people that destroyed these cities, especially out in Minnesota, the Antifa, the BLM, all these people that destroyed, ravaged these cities, they're now whining for federal aid now to rebuild their cities and rebuild all the damage that was done. And you know what Trump said to Minnesota? He said, nope. Check this out from the Epic Times. White House rejects Minnesota governor's request to help rebuild Minneapolis after riots. The Trump administration has denied a request from Minnesota's governor for millions of dollars in aid to rebuild parts of Minneapolis following the George Floyd protests and riots several weeks ago. A spokesperson for Governor Tim Walz's office confirmed on July 10th that the funding wasn't approved. Oh, that's too bad. That's really too bad. Do I feel an ounce of sympathy? I do for the people that had businesses that were destroyed that had nothing to do with this. But besides that, I really don't care. The governor is disappointed that the federal government declined his request for financial support. I'm sure he was pissed. Teddy Sham, the spokesperson, told the Minneapolis Star-Tribune and other news outlets. As we navigate one of the most difficult periods in our state's history, we'll look for support from our federal government to help us through. I wonder, I would love to have known or been in the room when Trump received this message, an email, letter from this governor asking for federal funding to rebuild their city that was destroyed, that they literally allowed to happen themselves and were essentially cheering it on. Completely cheering it on. What do you expect? And this smells so much of like those wildfires that ravaged California when all those theories were going around about, you know, the space weapons with lasers and all that stuff. And I dived into that too. And there was some legit sauce to a lot of that. But the main thing that came out of that was Nancy Pelosi and people in California were begging for federal funding after that. And they're big leeches at this point. They're absolute leeches. And why would Trump give any of these governors money? Trump literally said, I have the National Guard ready. I am just a phone call away. And we will clear places out in one night. And in some cases, less than an hour, he said. Like he did in D.C. They allowed it to happen. It happened for weeks. And now they want money to rebuild it from the government. And Trump put a big middle finger up to them and said, nope. We're good. We're good because it's governors like the ones, especially out in Chicago. They're the ones that let their cities absolutely get destroyed. And they're doing meaningless shit right now while the murder rates are going up, the shootings are going up, crime's going up, and they're neutering their police. And you guys want to see what the Chicago mayor was doing, what she's talking about right now, what she's concerned about. She's worried about the census. Now, I hope you guys are ready to laugh at this because this blows my mind. Look at this video. This is from Rising Serpent. This was all over Twitter. The combined Democrat mayor IQ of the entire country is a slowly rotting worm-eaten turnip. Watch this and see what she's doing while her city is just being succumbed by murder and shootings. Watch this.
When I was a kid, I loved the Batman TV show. And when the city of Gotham had a real difficult challenge, one of the things that the mayor there did is he called out and he sent out the distress signal to Batman. So we are doing something similar for the census. And I'm happy to report I'm calling out the census cowboy. So if you see see the census cowboy come into your neighborhood, that's not a good thing. That means you got to step up and do your part and make sure that you fill out the census. He's going to be going to the 10 communities across Chicago that have the lowest census response rate. And it's time to giddy up. Let's do this, Chicago. Let's make the census cowboy proud. Thank you very much, sir.
I have an idea for Beetlejuice. The census is going to be really easy. Everyone's moving out of your state, out of your city. You want a census cowboy. And the funny thing is, of all the things they could have used as far as racism and stuff like that, they're using a white dude riding a horse, but they're also supporting BLM and they're all about equality and stuff. And they're going to have a cowboy riding around on a horse looking for people to participate in the census. Meanwhile, people are being shot in the double digits, being killed by the double digits in her city alone. And the crime rate is absolutely ridiculous. And you can see the trend across every Democrat city out there right now. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And let's tie a bow on this before we get into the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff, because this was not shocking at all. The man behind everything, behind this entire operation, I mean, there's a whole bunch of parts, but he is a major funder of this. George Soros donated $220 million to radical BLM groups, including Movement to End Policing as We Know It. This same mayor that's probably clearing checks from this Soros guy here is having a cowboy ride around for the census. Meanwhile, this man is funding both sides. This is what we call, this man is so powerful that he's able to control both sides of this entire operation. He's paying the Antifa, latched on to BLM, and at the same time, he's giving bricks to corrupt cops to give to kids. And he totaled a massive $220 million to radical BLM groups, including Movement to End Policing as We Know It. This is George Soros and his Open Society Foundation. The same foundation that the Supreme Court just literally said that they can no longer donate money or implement practices or try to change laws that are anti-American. This same George Soros, and literally the man that's been denying he's backed the riots. He was part of the entire thing with the video games as far as communication behind the scenes. He bought stock in Activision before that whole thing blew up with Q. And his hands are also in this too. This man is playing both sides, and it's all about a race sport and to cause division and to completely take away the eyes from the real issues and to make us fight each other. And it's still going on right now. It's still going on. But hopefully we're going to see some justice, because what we saw today with Ghislaine Maxwell certainly indicated that we are finally on the right track. So let's start here, because this is where the rumors started, right? How long is she going to live for? Is COVID going to come into the factors here? And it did. This is from, I think, BBC.com. Ghislaine Maxwell requests bail due to significant coronavirus risk. And we had a feeling this was going to come up, right? She wasn't going to be able to go to court, or she wasn't going to be able to stay in the court or the prison that they wanted to because of COVID, and she's going to be moved around a lot. Is it going to give her a chance to get away? All these things were being talked about, right? So Ghislaine Maxwell should be released on bail of $5 million, which we know is not true now, while awaiting trial for sex trafficking minors because of the risk of contracting coronavirus in jail, her lawyers have argued. The British socialite was arrested on July 2nd and is accused of assisting convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein's abuse of minors. And right now, again, she faces up to 35 years if convicted. And these are for the crimes. This is the years I was looking for before. Prosecutors allege that between 1994 and 97, Miss Maxwell helped Epstein groom girls as young as 14. Epstein died in prison on August 10th as he awaited his trial on sex trafficking charges. His death was determined to be a suicide. Now, people keep asking me, why is it only for crimes between 94 and 97? As of right now, those are what's on the books that we know of. And there was an article that came out today as well that the Virgin Islands right now, they're trying to get their own separate cases already started. They're trying to get Maxwell to show up in their own court, offshores for other crimes for the same exact thing for different years. But from what I read, it's going to be very difficult because obviously she's dealing with this in New York right now. They're probably not going to send her out there because she's already facing pretty much a life sentence right now as we stand. So everyone thought COVID was going to be blamed, and COVID did come up in the defense lawyers' talk, which we heard today. But the crazy thing is we were all worried if Ghislaine is going to be, the cameras are going to be shut off. Is it going to be the same situation with Epstein where the guards just weren't around for that time? The video was destroyed, all that stuff, right? Well, look at this. New York Post. Ghislaine Maxwell reportedly moved from cell to cell to avoid assassins. Ghislaine Maxwell has moved from cell to cell in her Brooklyn lockup over fear someone will try to kill the accused Jeffrey Epstein madame before she stands trial, according to a report. The Post already revealed how the 58-year-old British socialite was forced to wear paper clothes and sleep on a bare mattress so she couldn't hang herself with clothes or bed sheets like Epstein. Now insiders have told the Mail on Sunday that prison officials are so terrified someone will try to kill her that they are constantly moving her around inside the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. So ladies and gentlemen, if it makes you feel any better at all, and it probably doesn't, they are doing things to ensure that this woman just stays alive. And at this point, I do believe they already have all the information they need out of her. I really believe that. Now, as far as the case, she said, she didn't say, her lawyer said that she is pleading not guilty to all of 6 charges for trafficking minors, grooming them, all that stuff. And this is from PressHerald.com. Ghislaine Maxwell denied bail in Epstein-related sex abuse case. And this is from New York. Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend will remain behind bars until trial after she was denied bail Tuesday as a risk to flee rather than face charges. She recruited girls for the financier to sexually abuse more than 2 decades ago. And 2 Epstein accusers implored the judge to keep British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell detained after she pleaded not guilty to the charges during a video court in Manhattan. Now, let's jump into what I heard today, because I heard the entire hearing. The prosecutor had to read the